tutorial now on the phone burner system. This is our calling system that we use. First of all, you're going to log in. You'll get the login credentials. Just sign in, and this is up here. Start you at the home screen. The home screen is going to, these are previous dial sessions per day, and then these are calls that have been made previously. Um, and it gives you some results. Over here is the dialing sessions. These are the actual sessions that you have dialed. These are just some sample ones in here right now. And this is something you'll use here. It says phone burner settings. These are some of the settings. The one that you'll mainly use here is this one, and the voicemail library. What you're going to want to redo, there's already a voicemail in here, but these are the voicemails that when you are calling in the system and you encounter a voicemail, what's going to happen is you press a button and it'll leave a voicemail for you. So it'll go right on to the next call. So you don't have to leave the same voicemail 50 times a day. You just record one, and then preferably at the beginning of the day, and then what happens is it leaves that voicemail automatically for you. And the way you set that up is you call this number, and when they answer, they're going to ask you to put in a pin. You put this pin in, then you just record like a normal voicemail, just like, hi, I'm calling from WCBBA tournaments. Wanted to see if your team wanted to play, or whatever. You can say the date. You can make it as creative as possible. You're not going to really use the appointments feature at all because we're not really setting appointments, and you don't need to use this. So where you're going to spend most of your time is in the contacts page. Okay, so the contacts we have in these different categories. Here's all new, but they're also this is all the contacts. So this is all your contacts. These are ones that basically we've said they said don't call us, and so when you click on that when you talk to somebody, I'll show you in the system, but after you talk to somebody, if say they're like, oh, I never coach, or stop calling me, or something like that, or this is a bad number, you can click on there and then they'll be put in this do not call area, okay, and then the system will label them as to not call. Let's see, not interested. You don't really have to worry. That's just a category. Here's test contacts. Now, if you're testing out the system, you can use these. These are 3 sample test calls. This is actually my number, so that's in there. But these are a couple good ones. You can click on these too, and you hit this to begin the dialing session. Now, this one is voicemail. Every time you hit voicemail, what happens is it will be put in this category, and I'll show you this after the calling session what happens. And then if it's a bad number or a wrong number, it'll go into this folder too, and that way maybe we just had the wrong number, and that'll give you a chance to go back in there. So what you want to do normally what you're going to do is this. In order to find out who you're going to call each day, what you're going to do is let me show you. Like here's how you open up the contact. This feature called tags is one that we'll be using a lot, and the main way that we use it is by what day we want to call them. Okay, so let's say instead of calling this person, on February 8th, we decided, what, we're going to call this person on, February 10th. We could either go to, right here and find the 10th and click and hit that, and then you want to just delete this one. Okay, or you can actually just type it in too, so you can put FEB and it'll start populating. And if you're going to put 10th, oops, see there's a space there, so you don't want to put 10 like that, because then it'll be a different one than this one. So you want to put it's always the 3-letter abbreviation for the month, space, and then like 10, or if you wanted to do the 11th, and then you hit enter and it'll put that in there. Make sure you push enter, because if you just like move the mouse away, it won't be blue like it is here. Okay, and then you can delete that one. You can also, if the date is not in, let's say you call somebody, they say, hey, call me back on June 12th or something. So if you go June, there's only June 1st on here, but you can do space and then 12, and if you hit enter, now June 12th is in here. Okay, so it automatically adds it to the tags. The tags are really important, so if you don't understand that, please, call me so I can go over that with you. Here's also the activity. So this will show activity. This one has none right now, but if you had called them, if you had sent them an email, the activities will all be here. These are the call recordings, and here's some. We don't really use that demographics. As far as the contact itself, we have these. This is important for us to know what grade teams they have. So teams are between 2nd and 12th grade, boys or girls. So we have girls 2nd to 12th here, and then boys 2nd to 12th. If you found out they had a 7th grade and a 6th grade boys team, you could click those two, and that's just good information for us to have. You'll understand why later. Here's their phone number, and if you, let's say you found out they had another email, you can add that in there. You can add another one, or if they had another phone number. Addresses we don't really need. We do like to know what city they're from. So if you found out they're in, Oakland, California, you put Oakland there. That is helpful information, but we don't really need to know their address. This is the folder that they're in. These folders here, and then there are notes up here, so you can type in notes. You can put insert a stamp. It'll date stamp it for today, and here's their website. This is the position. This is the team name. This is important too. We want to know team name. We want to know who we're talking to, if they're a coach. Their website, semi-important. But that's kind of all the information. Okay, so let's go back. And we're going to go to just test contacts. So, here's what I was going to tell you. What you're going to do on a normal basis is, let's say it's, in order to figure out who you need to call today, what you're going to do is go click this thing, click reset, okay? Just because if you had searched someone's number earlier today and you just hit this and then you tried to search on the tags or something, it would still be in there. That would mess up your search. So you want to reset, clear everything out. And then the tags for today are, February 8th. So we're going to put February 8th, or we can just find it here in the list. And then we're going to hit search. And these are all the people that we need to call today. Now the system has defaulted to February 8th right now, just because this system is new and we've just made everybody, to call today. So what you would do though is you would, let's say this list has 50 at a time. You can set it to show 50 if you only want to call 10 people right now. If you want to call 100, whatever it is. There's, over 1,000 contacts in here. But we're going to just go to the test contacts right now. So we're going to go to the test contacts. I'm going to click on these two, and I'm going to hit begin session. So this is how you begin calling. And what you do is, this is your setup. So phone script. There's not a phone script in here right now. I may add one, that's a default one from the system follow-up, but I may add one if you feel that's helpful. This is the voicemail play. So remember I showed you where to create your voicemail. If you could either put no voicemail, which we don't want, or let's say you created another one and you named it like today's date or something, you could put that in there, and then leave this at default, and then call recording yes, hit continue. Okay, and it's going to ask you to call this number. So what you're going to do is dial this number. I'm going to dial it right now. Okay, and you're going to hear what happens. So it asks us to enter this PIN number, which is 713592 pound. And once you click the start button on your screen, your dial session will begin. So it's now connected us. Here's how many contacts that we've selected to call. You can start the session, you can pause it at any time, and you can end it too. So if we start the session, it's going to automatically start calling that first number. Okay, this is just a sample person. Okay, and I'm going to, let me see. Here's all the... Hey, Sally Prospect here. Thanks for using Homewarner. All right. I appreciate that you're listening to my message, but just so you know, you can click the leave voicemail button as soon as you're ready. Okay, so once they answer and it's a voicemail, what happens is that you can just click voicemail, leave voicemail. It will automatically leave a voicemail. Okay, and I'm going to pause the recording I'm going to pause the session right now. But once you hit that, it'll automatically leave that pre-recorded voicemail, and it'll go on to the next phone call. But I do want to let you know what else we have here. So here's the phone number. If they had 2 phone numbers or 3, they would be listed here. So you can actually, like, let's say you called this first number and it was like busy, or you didn't, it was ringing, no answer. You can just click on this next number. It'll just start calling the next number for you. Okay. Um, this is the name, the email. If we do get another, email or something from them, or if say the email was not listed here, you want to try to get that. That's a good information for us to have. City, this is something, like I said, we'd like to know. This is the folder that it's in. You don't really have to worry about folders when you're calling. That's something you'll use more when you're not calling. This is important. Now, let's say you got somebody on the line. What you can do is send them, this system will send an automatic email to them right after you hang up the phone. And there are preset emails in here. So here's one that, let's say you call somebody and you ask them if they're interested for the tournament. They're like, yeah, I am interested. I might be able to play this week. Then this email is like, here's how to register right now. So that's somebody that's really interested, and you want to get that information out to them. Here's another one, or other people say you talk to them, they'll say, oh yeah, send me your information, or send me how to register, or they just want some quick information. This email basically just says, here's where you register. It has our website, and it's real simple. So that's one you can use. This one is somebody, let's say you call and they say, yeah, I am interested in playing this week. This one also has a little note to say that. It kind of says, I know you want to play this week. Please register here. So it's similar to this one, but this one's more geared for just this week. This one also you could send out to somebody who's like, yeah, I do like your tournaments. I'd like to register in the future here. This one is about future tournaments. So a lot of times you're going to call people and you're going to ask them, hey, can you play in our tournament? And they'll say, oh, I can't play this week, but I can play in March, or in April. We're looking to play your tournament. So this would be the email that you send them. And then this one is more like a maybe. So somebody that just says, well, I think I could play, or, we're not sure what day. They're kind of more unsure, but they're kind of giving you a little bit of positive feedback. Then this one is somebody, there are some people out there that have come to our tournament and maybe have had a bad experience somehow. Maybe the referees were bad, or maybe something like that. And so this one kind of just says, hey, we apologize, and, we'd love for you to try out our tournament again. All the other ones, these other emails, you don't have to worry about. These ones get automatically sent, and I'll show you how in a second. But let's say you talk to this person over the phone, and they said, yeah, I am interested in playing this week. You can click this email, and then you click the lock button. And as soon as you hang up this call, okay, it will send this email out to that person, okay? Now, the other thing that you would want to do, okay, and this would be on a live call, is like, maybe let me show you that. I'll show you that in a second. But here's the notes you can take. Team name, if you find out their team name, put that in here. If you know this guy's a coach, put that there. If you want to look up their website, put it there, you can. Start date. Now this is basically what this is this is something different. Certain teams only function at certain times of the year. Like, you may have a team that operates from January to September. That's kind of typical. Maybe they take October, November, December off. So let's say it's October, and it's just so we don't keep calling them, in December, or, November and October when they're really not playing. You can put this here, and this will kind of give you a clue as to when they started. Maybe they start in April. This is not super duper important, but it is something. Now, also, if you're talking to this guy and you find out, oh, he has third grade girls, you want to add that in here. So if you find out they have third grade girls, add that in. So a lot of teams have, a lot of people you call have multiple teams. So if you find out they have a 6th grade boys team, add that in here. And then also, just kind of as a double check, click it here as well. Okay, and this is going to be really valuable information for you, because what this is going to do is there are certain weeks where you're going to only have 2 third grade boys teams registered. And you're going to need to contact all the third grade boys teams that we have. And this will be really easy for you to kind of pull up and be able to say, okay, I know all these teams are, have this grade. And you can call, a list of 20 teams that have third grade boys on them. Okay, so I'm going to continue unpause this. Oops, dang it. Alright, I clicked it one too many times. Okay, here we go. So it's calling the next person. Okay. And
hi.
So
Don't
this
click the leave
person,
voicemail button just yet. This is Jeff, the customer advocate
and
at
you'll hear
Zollwork,
this guy
and I want to
again.
show you around the dialer window.
He can show you around the dialer a little bit. It's a sample call. But what this one can do, let's say we hit live, okay? Let's say it's a live call. What happens is while we're on the call, you're talking to this person, you may be collecting some information, you can type that in. And let's say you finally hang up the call. So once you end this call, okay, this is going to come up, and it's not going to start the next call until you click on one of these. Okay, so this gives you kind of time to say, okay, I just called him today, X that out, and say, okay, he wants to play in April, so I'm going to call him back on March 15th or put him in there for that. So this is very, very important. You need to do, if you don't do this for your calls, then you will be kind of stuck on they'll be stuck on February 8th, and you'll be continuing to call them. Okay. So this is important. You want to know when to call them back. Let's say if you got any other information, you just want to write in some notes about this guy, blah, 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 you find out different things about them, so you can put it in the notes. If you found we didn't have their email and you could add all that in. Then once you're done with all that, then you can hit interested, not interested. These are not that important. The only one that's really important here is do not call. Okay, let's say you call somebody and they say, hey, I don't coach anymore at all. Or you call somebody, they're like, I don't know how you got my number, or, maybe it's a new cell phone number and the coach that had that number, it no longer has that anymore. You can click do not call and it will add them to the do not call list. Okay, so you can click that there. It will add them to the do not. Now it's going to call the next person. Okay. We only had 2 on there, but it would call the next person. Okay, so this is kind of the results of your calling. You can close this window out. Now if we go to, let's say, do not call. Let's see. I don't know if it won't let that one go in there, but maybe it just labels it. Let's see. Let's go back to test calls. There's this Jeff guy. I think it puts a little, see how it says do not call this person. And I believe we can try to sample it right here, but it won't call that. It will not call that person. The system won't, because we've labeled them as do not call, even though they're still in the list. Now, one thing you have to do after your calling session, anybody that you hit voicemail for is going to go into this voicemail folder. All right, he's no longer going to be in this Sally is no longer in the test. Okay, so she's been taken out of here and put in the voicemail. Okay, and the reason is because it just makes it a little bit easier. It's kind of hard to figure out when to call them back and do all that in the same time you're trying to leave a voicemail, because this thing leaves voicemail so quickly. So what you'd want to do is go into each of these contacts. And maybe you just figure out, okay, I left a voicemail for Sally today. I'm going to call her, next week or something. Okay, so you put her down for February 15th. That's the one thing you want to do. And then once you do that, like say you had 10 people you left voicemails to, once you do that for them, then you could click them all and put them back, move them back into the contacts folder. Okay, but in this case, we're going to move her to the test contacts because she's a test person. Okay, that for the most part is it about the calling system. Hopefully that was helpful to you.